Well, last November, Family Guy pulled off a lame range trap to kill off Brian, and then immediately brought him back 2 episodes later. Since then, the episode has received negative reception for its stunt, and since then, Brian has gotten worse as a character. And I've been thinking about how other episodes that have killed off a character did this plotline better than Family Guy did. Well, South Park did when they killed off Kenny for a season, so today, I'm going to compare notes on how these 2 episodes treated the issue, and how the characters have been used in the show since then. So without further ado, this is my first versus video. Let's start off with Family Guy. It starts off with Brian and Stewie running away from Native Americans. It ends that plot when Brian and Stewie go back in time to stop them from getting guns that Stewie had previously given them to protect themselves. Why Stewie did this to begin with, we'll never know. After successfully taking away the guns and going back to the present day, Stewie decides to destroy the time machine to prevent any more problems that the time traveling has caused. While at the junkyard, Brian finds some street hockey stuff and they decide to play after they return home. When Stewie goes back into the house to get his pads, Brian is run over by a car with no driver and no license, as the family grieves in horror to what has happened to Brian. At the animal hospital, it's revealed that Brian has little to no time to live, and as they say their goodbyes, Brian says his and finally passes away.
You've given me a wonderful life. I love you all.
Now here's the major problem. This is just the first 8 to 9 minutes of the episode, and Brian has already been killed off. Now let's look at the South Park episode, Kenny Dies. It sounds like a shady creepypasta, but it's not. The episode's about Kenny starting off with slow motions of him feeling ill, and by the end of the first act, it's revealed that he won't have a long time to live. The difference is that it doesn't immediately show Kenny in agonizing pain, and the issue is taken seriously as opposed to...
That guy sucked!
Yeah. South Park, on the other hand, not only took the issue seriously, but Kenny didn't end up dying until the very end of the episode. Back to Family Guy. After Brian passes away, Stewie tries to recreate his time machine to bring Brian back, but he can't due to not being able to get plutonium to power up the time machine, and thus Brian will stay dead.
I guess that means Brian is really gone for good.
After a month or so, the family decides to get a new dog to rid themselves of the pain, despite that it's time that'll help them get over Brian's death. Now while Vinny is an Italian stereotype, he's at least more likable than what modern Brian is. After all, I doubt Vinny would give a baby herpes. Now with South Park, they did something similar by making Butters their 4th friend, but there are also other episodes in the 6th season that played around with trying to find another 4th friend for their group, before ultimately going with Tweak. Also, the original reason that Kenny was killed off was not because of a range trap, but because the creators felt they couldn't go any farther with Kenny at the time since he was pretty much a joke. But he was brought back by the end of the 6th season finale because the audience still wanted to see more Kenny. Brian was brought back too by the end of the episode Christmas Guy, but by Stewie being able to successfully go back in time to stop him from getting hit in the first place. Now let's talk about how far the characters have gone since they've been brought back. I know I'm switching this, but with Kenny, he was killed off less often. He'll have his own episode every now and then, and seems to have developed more as a character instead of merely being a joke for the most part. Brian, on the other hand, has more of a license to do whatever he wants, and has progressively gotten worse as a character. He has proven to be as egotistical as Peggy Hill, shown to knowingly give 2 of his family members herpes with no remorse whatsoever, claiming that he was just embarrassed to tell him about it, and has shown that he has become a terrible father figure for his son Dylan, and clearly hasn't changed whatsoever since Dylan hasn't come back in any other episode since then. And how about the recent episode, Brian the Closer, where after being humbled by Quagmire, he ends up screwing him by selling him a shitty apartment, and manages to avoid giving back Quagmire's money since he made it past the 72-hour mark in the most insulting way possible.
Because I am none of the things you are. You're honest and direct and compassionate. And that is 72 hours. Enjoy your crap hole, dumbass.
Good thing he got his teeth knocked out afterwards. So to sum things up, Kenny Dies is the superior one of the 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was some minor controversy with the episode, also focused on aborted fetuses, and what Carmen ultimately ends up using them for.
I put the stem cells from all the fetuses I had next to Shaggy's, and they are replicating a new Shaggy. I figure I only need 100 or so more aborted babies, and I can finish up the kitchen. Ah!
Besides that, the episode took itself very seriously, and there were little to no jokes surrounding the issue. With Family Guy, there were random racist characters, unfunny jokes, and killing off a character that many were pretty happy to get rid of at this point. Look, if you like Brian despite what he has become, then more power to you. But for me, the episode that wins is Kenny Dies. The next time I do a versus video is going to be unique because I'm going to be talking about 2 Family Guy episodes with similar plot lines, sometime during January. I'll see you guys next time.
I love you all. All.
La 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 la. Oh.